This is an opinion piece on whether you should do mobile or a physical location. When I started my therapy clinic over 10 years ago, I decided to go with a physical location versus mobile, but here is my thinking around that. My name is Wong. I'm an occupational therapist and certified hand therapist. And like I said, over 10 years ago, I started my therapy clinic, and over 5 years ago, I started Hand Therapy Secrets with the goal of sharing clinically what I know and business wise what I know and what I'm currently doing so that you can have more choices in your career. And hey, listen, if you want to start your own business, like, let's go, right? And this, again, like I said, this is an opinion piece, and I'm bringing it up because I want you to think about it. So this, this is to kind of make you think about it as well. Um, it's very easy to go mobile. It's very easy to go mobile, and it's because you can kind of like start and you can go to a person's place. But there's a lot of factors when you factor in the reason why you're going mobile. Yes, mobile is cheaper. So, oh my gosh, mobile is mobile. It's cheaper, right? It's cheaper, but calculate in the cheaper, you are spending time instead of spending money, right? Because you are then now going places, and depending on where you live, things can be far away, right? You're spending more time. It's a scheduling. It can become a scheduling issue based off of where you're willing to go, right? Where are you willing to go? Um, I have a friend of mine who, when he started his business, he went mobile. But when you go mobile, sometimes we think, oh, it's cheaper. It's not cheaper if you expense for a vehicle that is very particular for bringing the gym to you, right? So he got a very nice Mercedes van, decked it out, looked beautiful, had a gym inside it. But that is expensive too because you're making monthly payments. So is it really cheaper? It's not, right? So it's cheaper to get started, but here's what you're trading. You're trading your time instead of spending the money. And so you have to think about, like, how much time do I want to spend? I started with a physical location, and I started it with a physical location because Miami traffic freaking sucks. And I didn't want to be stuck driving from one place to another. And when you're starting out, it's really hard to say no, right? When you're starting out, you're like, oh my God, patient wants me, patient needs me, I can go there. Dear Lord, some places it can take an hour in the middle of the freaking day. Like I took on a private client, and they wanted me to go to them. It took me an hour to go from my house to where they were staying. And they were staying at a very fancy, they were staying at the Four Seasons. It took me an hour to get there. And I was like, oh my God, within that hour, I could have been doing so many other things, right? To build my business, it took me an hour to get to them. I saw them for an hour, and then it took me 45 minutes from that location to drive to my clinic, right? So that's what I think about mobile. Is it easy to get started with mobile? It is. Is it cheaper to get started with mobile? It is. If you don't buy anything fancy, but holy shit, just understand, it's gonna suck the time out of you. And from a scheduling purpose, from a scheduling perspective, it can be really tough as well because you're kind of going from place to place to place, and you have to make sure that you're leaving by a certain time, the patient's not waiting on you. And now, of course, I'm talking about many types of mobile business. Like, I'm a hand therapist, but you could be an occupational therapist, physical therapist. Your specialty could be kids, could be geriatric. I had a friend of mine who did very well. He was in the neuro space, and he worked with geriatric neuro patients, Parkinson's, strokes, poor balance, neuropathy, things like that. And he just loved that shit. He was just like, I love being mobile. And yeah, but he just went from place to place. When he was trying to grow his business, it became it became an even harder thing to schedule, because it was scheduling himself, scheduling his therapist, to then go from place to place, and then you have to schedule time for everyone to kind of come together and do the meeting, make sure you guys are all on the same track, and all that good stuff, right? So make sure that your therapists are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So yeah, these are some of the things that I just want you to consider. And then I also want you to consider, I also want you to consider, what are you doing in terms of where you see your business going in the future, right? Where do you see your business going in the future? There's no right and there's no wrong. Again, I'm just saying, like, this is my thought process on it. And so I'm just sharing this with you so you can see what your thought process is around it. One of my friends who grew her company from just her to over $1 million business, where she had like 20 people in her business, started mobile and then went to a very big space and kept the mobile and did the physical location. But she grew it really fast. And it was a hybrid business, so it's like a cash model, but she also took insurance. I have somebody who started mobile and then went to a physical location now. And then I have somebody who has a physical location and now they're going mobile. But if I'm but they're from a physical location to a mobile location, it's because they're also like kind of downgrading their business. I'm not saying it derogatory, but they're trying to do a little bit less, right? They don't necessarily want to keep doing the thing that they were currently doing, so like taking insurance and all that stuff. They're just, went from a hybrid model, physical location, to now a complete cash mobile practice. So, where do you see your business growing? How do you see your business growing? Where do you see it in the next 3 to 5 years? You don't have the luxury. I don't think you necessarily have the luxury of planning just 1 year. Think about like what it looks like in 3 to 5 years, because you're putting a lot of sweat equity, meaning you're putting a lot of your time. Your time costs money, right? Whatever you're not doing to make money, then like, it's lost. But you have a business now, so you have to think like a business and not think like just a practitioner, right? When you first start out, you're thinking, oh, I made $50 an hour. I want to make $50 an hour. No, bitch, you gotta make like 150. If you want to pay yourself $50, you have to make 150. Because there's a lot of expenses that go into it, even if you're mobile, because there's a lot of expenses that go into it. It's just not like it's not just like, oh, I make $50 and I make $50 and put $50 in my pocket. I bring that up because when I was working for someone else, one of the therapists that I was mentoring at the time, she was like, oh my God, these people, imagine you could start your own business, and if every person, see how many people you're having. I was treating 3 patients at a time. She's like, can you imagine if you saw all those patients, and each one was like paying you $50, you're making like 200 something. It's like so much money. Now that I always remember that conversation, because I was like, I don't think that math is mathing, right? I was like, I don't think that math is mathing, because in order for a therapist to be able to treat and see all the patients that they treat, they have to have support staff to be able to schedule, to do all the stuff to then get them the patients on their schedule, but also then to get paid. If you think about a doctor's office, one surgeon has a staff of 4 or 5 just so that he can keep his schedule full with surgeries and patients. So you have to have a certain amount of revenue for support staff. Don't think that those people are unimportant. They're very important in order to keep you full, right? They're very important to keep you full. So, I just want to challenge you to think about that. Now, a physical location is more expensive, all right? Oh, sorry, my pen's running out, and I was washing my pens over there because I got ink all over the place. Um, a physical location is more expensive, but you know what else a physical location is? It's a commitment. But you signed that lease. I remember just telling my staff, how I got started. I got started in my rent was like $500 at that time, and she's like, $500 because she had a business before, and she was like, my rent cost me $12,000. I almost choked. I was like, $12,000. I was like, your space must have been huge. And so yeah, her space was huge. They had multiple different practitioners, not just like therapy or yoga or whatever, but had multiple different practitioners. The space was ginormous for $12,000. I was like, listen, my space, like you sneeze and you hit the other wall. I had a 500 square, was it? No, I had a 300 square foot space. It was small. I only needed a table. I needed a cabinet for my space. I had a little mat for my shoulder and whatever patients. I had a sink and a little refrigerator and like 2 chairs in the front. It was really small and it was cheap, and that's why I went with it. It was cheap, but it was also in the location that I wanted. But it was in what is considered a C-class building. Did you know buildings had class? I had no idea. But I was in the dumpiest of the dump. I didn't know. I was just like, the location is good, the price is good, I'll sign it. Um, and I remember my realtor at that time, the husband had come and he was like, and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't make a decision to save my life. I was like, I don't know. Do I do it? Do I not do it? And he was like, listen. He's like, listen, you can do it. He goes, do you have a car payment? I was like, no. He's like, if you had a car payment, what would you be paying? Like $500 a month. He goes, could you cover a car payment if you had to? And I was like, shit, yes. I mean, I couldn't cover $12,000, but I could cover $500. And so that was what helped make my decision. But the decision also to be physical and to sign a 3-year lease was the thing that forced me to make it work. And so my opinion is that sometimes easier isn't better. It's just easier. And it is a way for you to drag your feet. Keep that in mind, right? So I think that sometimes our brain tries to think, what's the easiest thing? What's the easiest thing? But easy isn't always better, and easy isn't always the thing that's going to give you the thing that you want. So this year, I have been committing to stop looking for the easy way out. I know it's taken me 10 years, right? I've done hard things, but I guess I've always done them with the thing like, why can't it be easier? Why can't it be, you know, yeah, it's just like, why can't it be easier? Why can't I be like this multimillionaire on the, in the Baltics, living the dream? um, it's not my dream, but you know what I mean. Like, why can't it just be easier? And so this year, I've resolved to not look for the shortcuts and not look for the easy way out, right? I'm looking to build something that is sustainable. I have always been on the mission to build something that's sustainable. I've always been on this mission to build something that's going to last me. My lifetime, not anyone else's lifetime. I've always looked to build something that maybe I can sell at some point. I don't know if that's possible, but I do want to do that at some point. Like, I want to be able to sell what I've created. But for the most part, I just want something that has some longevity. Maybe this business gives me the money that then I can take and then buy something like real estate and things like that will give me longevity, that will give me more sustainable wealth over a period of time. But my goal in business has always been to grow and create something that is more sustainable. So I think that if you're looking to do that in your business, then think a little bit beyond cheap, and think a little bit beyond easy, right? Think beyond cheap and easy. Because cheap and easy, that should never last. When have you ever gone to Walmart and been like, that cheap and easy thing was lasting me and I could hand that shit down? You can't, right? So when I started my business, and I continue, it's not just when I started 10 years ago in my clinic, started 5 years ago in the program side, and I continue to challenge myself. Every single time I'm like, oh my God, it'd be easier to do this or it'd be cheaper to do this. I challenge myself to not always think about cheap and easy. I think about what is it that I truly want, and what I truly want is to build something that is lasting, that is sustainable, that is useful. Like those things all speak to me and they speak to my personality. So, what speaks to your personality? What speaks to the thing that you want longevity wise? Business is really hard, so don't fuck around. Like, business is too hard to be like, oh, maybe I'll do it one day, maybe I won't do it another day. You either fucking commit or you just like sit in the back. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. Again, it's just my opinion, and I made my decisions. I went physical, I went long term. I also, in physical, you can sublet or you can do your own thing. And I'm just kind of, I wouldn't say I'm a control freak, but kind of am a little bit. Like, I don't want someone to tell me what I'm supposed to do and not supposed to do. So yeah, like I did look at a space where they were like subletting me, and they were just not really clear in terms of how it's going to work, especially if you're subletting within another therapy clinic. My experience was when they were saying, oh, you can come in, you use the room, use the space, but then it was a shared like front desk that I could pay for. My concern with that as an occupational therapist was that if I was going to go and do all the marketing and I was getting the shoulder patients or the elbow patients, would it now then go to someone else within that practice just because they pigeonholed me into, oh, you're a hand therapist, so you're only seeing hand and wrist? I see everything. And now I see everything, but before I used to, just be like hand to shoulder, right? Now I see everything. And I don't think that I could have done that had I, been in a place where they put me in a box. And I guess in speaking about it, I just don't like to be in a box, right? I don't like to be in a box. So yeah. Let me know if this video was helpful, if it kind of helped you think about what you want to do, whether you are looking to grow and scale or you're looking to kind of downsize a little bit. But either way, it all comes down to making decisions, and making whatever decisions you make them right by working on the thing that you say you wanted to do. All right, so let me know if that helps. Click the like button, subscribe, and of course always leave me a comment. I answer them. And if you want, leave me a question and let me know so I can make more videos, more business videos for you, because that helps to guide me to know, like, what are you looking for? All right, please and thank you.